If you want to make $1,000,000, don't focus on making $1,000,000.
What?
Yeah, we're going to talk about focusing on process today. Welcome to Modern Alchemy.
Modern Alchemy, favorite podcast, #1 podcast, only podcast you ever want to listen to. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, amazing intro. Welcome to Modern Alchemy, friends, the podcast where we focus on your limitless potential. My name is Joe Jennings. I am a coach slash guide slash Sherpa.
I really think you should change your title to Sherpa.
It's
Like emotional support Sherpa? No. Business Sherpa? See.
That's actually really funny. And that's how I think about it. The Sherpa just leads you up the mountain.
And I'm Christina Nichols, and I led him up the mountain. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm an energy healer, so in a way I kind of did.
There have been some help along the way from you for sure.
Oh, that's so nice.
Well, cool. I want to do your funny question.
This is a good one.
Okay.
If you could allow any mythical creature to become a real creature, what would you choose?
Any mythical creature to become a real creature.
Yeah, like you'd go, dragons, and then there would be one right behind you.
I love dragons. So, fun backstory. I used to call myself the dragon when I was a party boy in college, and I had this haircut. I've talked about it before, the dragon mane. Like my hair was like really long, but I shaved like all the sides off, and it was like this. I called it the dragon mane, and I would get really wasted. And I don't remember the name of the song, but it was like my dragon transformation song, and it was like a intense techno song, and I'd be like. And then I turned into the dragon, and my first credit card had a dragon on it. I like put a picture of a dragon on it, like a cool dragon, not like a Puff the Magic Dragon. I'm talking like a badass dragon, bro.
What's wrong with Puff?
He's just not. He's cool. He's nice, but
I'd be loving me some Puff the Magic Dragon.
I bet you do. But I don't actually want dragons to be real because that would be horrendous.
Have I told you my theory
Which one?
about dragons?
I'd love to hear it.
Well, okay. We know that dinosaurs had feathers. But there was this one guy who said, what if they didn't have tiny arms, a T-Rex? What if it's actually this bone that would facilitate a wing? And either they were chickens or dragons.
Oh, because the bones of the wings are usually really small.
Because it's made
and
of
it's
cartilage.
just like the rest of the
Yeah,
mechanism.
and so this tiny little arm for a T-Rex doesn't make sense.
That does make sense.
But if you made it into a chicken bone, it does make sense. And even more so if you put a shoulder cap on it, which could also be made of cartilage. Now you have the opportunity for wings.
Oh my God, that's a dragon. And that would literally be a dragon. This is interesting. You know, woolly mammoths existed up until like 3,000-4,000 years ago.
No.
Yeah, I just found that out. There's actually a company that's their genetics company, and they are revitalizing woolly mammoths. That's their goal.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
So it's real life Jurassic Park.
literally. So they essentially have all these samples of woolly mammoth DNA because it's not that old in theory, whereas, dinosaurs were significantly longer ago. So woolly mammoths were around while human beings were around. There's also this rhetoric about the word dragon. From the early translations of the Bible, they translated a word, and I don't remember the word, but it actually meant dragon. So there are people that actually believe that dragons may have existed. And the frickin' Velociraptors, and I only know this because I've seen the original Jurassic Park 100 times, they have backwards knee joints, which is how a bird's legs are. Like the goes like this, not like this.
I do know.
You do know. Okay. You know.
Well, I'm a godmother to chickens across the street,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm really acquainted with the
What a dumb
feathered friends.
thing. But I guess it makes sense for landing because then more of your weight goes back. Whereas if it went forward, you could fall over. If you're landing like this, you'd want more weight to go backwards.
I mean, they're not birds that are up flying a lot.
But all birds mechanics are like that. They're also very
Oh.
light. I don't. It does make sense.
It is
like,
funny.
why would an animal have little T-Rex arms?
Have you ever seen chickens jump? Like my desk sits in front of a window of a coop. And I used to watch these naughty chickens when they were teenagers. They would jump over the fence. They'd jump out of the coop.
They can jump that high?
Yeah, they would like whoop, and like kind of help themselves up. They'd jump and then catch a little air when they were lighter.
They can get a little glide.
Yeah.
Why can't
and
they
then
fly?
the way that they land though on those feet after they're jumping, when they land, they whoosh. They really do secure themselves down. I think they have all these weird joints for that specific movement so the body can land without breaking their feet every time.
Can chickens not fly?
No, they're not like.
It's not a flight bird. How do
No,
roosters get on top of barns?
They just keep getting some air.
And they get a little, and then a
Yeah.
little.
I think I've never seen any of these chickens fly. When they were teenagers, when they were younger and smaller, they were.
I'm almost positive they don't fly. No,
No.
they don't fly.
They don't fly.
Because then they would
Like an
fly away.
ostrich.
They're a flightless bird. Worthless. They taste good though. Eggs are awesome. Oh yeah, eggs are the best.
Anyway,
I had eggs the other day.
what's my mythical creature?
Yeah, what's your creature?
The problem is I don't know about a lot of mythical creatures.
What's in the sphere of your knowledge base? Let's name a few. Dragon, you knew.
Dragon was.
Yeah, we knew dragon. What else you got?
Like a chupacabra.
Chupacabra. Let's try to get 5.
Ooh, her. Yeti.
Yeti. Yeti. That's a good one.
Loch Ness monster.
One more.
Did I say chupacabra?
Yep. Did I say chupacabra? The goat sucker. It's literally what that means. You got this.
Mythical. Batman.
Batman. Very mythical.
Oh, could it be fairies?
Fairies.
Fairies. That's
Yeah,
fairies.
that's a
I would make
mythical
fairies
creature.
real.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Wow, it took us a long time to get there.
I didn't even think of the. You're
a guide.
You're welcome. I was thinking Bigfoot. I was trying to send you Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. That's what I meant by Yeti.
Yeah. Technically.
Okay, I met a guy one time and he had a Bigfoot story, and I believe him because he's like a quiet guy.
Is that why he's quiet? Like, what did Bigfoot do to him?
He's not one of these boastful, loud guys. He's not telling anybody the story. He only told me the story because he's best friends with my Uncle Denny. He's like, I don't usually tell people. And I believe him. I believe that he doesn't tell anybody.
The Bigfoot one's hard to, because if there was a creature that was around now with all the cameras and stuff, maybe he's just really good at hiding from it.
Yeah, or the cameras, I think we're idiots. Animals know frequency. You think they can't tell that there's some electromagnetic frequency in
So they just stay away from it?
Yeah, I'm sure they feel it before they can see it. Like how some people can feel Wi-Fi. I used to work with this lady who couldn't sit at her desk. She had to have a desk that was far removed from the computer because if she was too close to the electricity, it would like tingle in her body. She couldn't touch an iPhone.
So she was a crazy person.
She kept going to all these doctors and nobody would. She met one holistic doctor who said he'd heard about this. Apparently there's this group of people that live in the middle of nowhere, and it's this one area of the US, or there's a couple of them, but there's no Wi-Fi within like 15 miles or something, and they live in a commune.
So I saw it was a docuseries, and it was about, that was one of the things that they were debunking. And I'm not saying that EMF isn't a real thing. It's likely not great for you. We won't know till we're old, and then that'll be like the new smoking. But this guy had a cell phone on him, and it was on, and he was talking to this guy like closer than you and I are, and the guy was totally fine until he was like, "Oh, I forgot to," and the guy was like, "Oh," and they were like, "Okay, yeah, that's not real."
Well, this lady, she was older and she was really struggling. I believe her.
I believe it's real when you create it in your mind.
Oh.
Like, I don't think that's...
So she didn't know what it was for a really long time. She couldn't like figure it out. She was getting super sick at work. And then someone suggested it to her. And so what she would do, again,
so she actually...
She had a long wired mouse and a long wired keyboard. And as long as the computer was maybe like 5 feet away from her, she could work on it. So
she had like a
these
big screen?
Yeah.
But there's Wi-Fi and electromagnetic frequencies everywhere in that building.
Yeah. Well, that's why she was working from home.
Oh, she worked from home.
Yeah. And so she just had to keep herself
and
like
had
a
wired
certain
internet.
distance, and she felt better. But she was getting these headaches. She didn't know why she was getting sick.
Was this a person that you would normally say was mentally sound?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She was a lovely woman, and she was real. You could tell she was so frustrated that like no one believed her, and it was like this thing she can't control.
And
She couldn't go to like dinners
because there's Wi-Fi.
because just being around all the phones in people's pockets gave her intense migraines.
Oh wow!
I know.
She should get like a hat with an EMF mesh sewn into it.
Maybe she has one now. I haven't talked. This is
Like a
also
suit with
15
EMF
years
mesh.
ago.
Oh,
Maybe-
she figured it out.
Maybe 12 years ago.
Because I don't believe it. And so I'm assuming that's how every single person treats her. And if
Yeah.
that was real, which I don't believe, that would be so painful to
Well, think
feel
about
that
12
way.
years ago.
And for people to just be like, you're insane.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the frequencies were way worse then.
Or they were just getting started when all of this was happening. Because phones came on the, like, iPhones came on the scene only a handful of years prior to this.
So that's when she started to really feel it.
Yeah. So Wi-Fi wasn't as prevalent then. God only knows where she lives now. Probably in the middle of nowhere.
Did you ever see the Better Call Saul show?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's brother had like the EMF sensitivity.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but he was like they basically proved it was bullshit. It was totally psychosomatic. I do wonder. I mean,
No, it's not good for us.
I wonder.
I have some EMF pads coming for us. I've got you one.
I'm gonna get yeah, thank you. That's nice of you. What is that?
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. So today, what I want to talk about is, and it's something that, especially just for the viewer, obviously our super fans know this, but if you're tuning in and you're new, so we're building this business. We have our own businesses that we're building, and then we have this mutual business, this media business that we're building. And when you're new to any endeavor, you have an end goal in mind. And I've been getting really down because I'm trying to move the process along more quickly. And I realized that focusing on the end goal was making it much more difficult to progress effectively because everything I did was from me trying to cut the line down the chain. And I don't necessarily have the skills, tools, resources, whatever, to affect change that would actually affect that goal. So focusing on the next piece in the process, that's going to be where that I can, number one, feel confident to make a move because I actually have the ability to affect that piece of the process. It takes a lot of pressure off because I'm not worried about getting here. I'm just worried about getting to the next level. And that actually is going to allow me to make more actions and feel better about those actions and that progress. Because when you work towards this huge goal, I mean, we just hit a new landstone. I'm in trouble with the sayings. And so we just hit like 50,000 views, which is in our large goal, a drop in the bucket. But that's why making the goal a piece of the process, the next step, makes it much more significant. Because number one, it takes so much pressure off. You feel better about moving. And then when you hit a milestone, you feel good about it. So I've been like depressed for like 3 days until I reframed it. And I was like, dude, focus on what's the next piece of the puzzle. How much progress can you make towards that goal? Yes, my eye is still on the prize. That's my intention, but my focus is on the next piece of the process. And that's what I want to go over today in a very long way of saying that.
Yeah, like when people do fundraisers and they have the little tube and they just keep filling it up. Like, oh, we hit this new marker.
Yeah, and those little slashes, and you get to feel good about it.
Yeah, you feel good. You're not losing sight of the prize. You're just worried about like right here.
And I think that's the thing that people, where they go wrong is thinking that the end goal should be the focal point, because if you focus on a goal in front of that goal, you're not going to get to the end goal. Yeah. From my perspective, and I think this is how most normal human beings operate, especially if you want to talk about habit building versus like your goal doesn't get accomplished by you doing one crazy thing. Your goal gets accomplished by you doing daily habits. And so it's like you don't even have the ability to build the habits that a millionaire, billionaire has yet, right? But you can definitely build the habits and create the processes that someone who's 10% better can do. And then do that 10 times, you're already there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't ever want to lose sight of your goal. But for me, it becomes very depressing because I'm like, great, nothing feels good. This progress is nothing. It's like a drop in the bucket. And so, yeah, that was a huge reframe I had last week to kind of get my mind back in the game. It's been much easier to just make progress and feel in flow.
Thanks for being so vulnerable and saying that.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest issues.
I know that is probably not easy to to admit and say. So thank you.
No, you're welcome. I appreciate you being captive audience.
Truly.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever experienced that, or like, how do you focus on goals when you have a big goal that you want to achieve?
I think taking big bites is much harder than taking tiny bites. Just learn that the forefront, the now, if you can focus on just what's happening right now, everything's a lot easier. It also probably is why I'm more optimistic, because I'm not looking so far down the road that I'm thinking about problems. Unless it's something we're going to, like, if we need something for the future, then I'm like, okay, how do I look at the future? But I don't think about that. I haven't really put thought into our full growth strategy. I've thought maybe 3 steps ahead. I haven't thought 10 years out.
You have really big goals though. So how, yeah. So you still,
Okay, so from a manifestation thought process, I don't worry about the in between. So what happens is I have a big goal at the end and I know what the big goal is. And then I focus on a couple steps ahead of me and I just don't worry about the in between, because all the in between stuff is coming. I'm letting the universe and God fucking figure that out. Okay, like I can't. I've always said, universe is way more creative than I am. So if I'm overly controlling a situation for some reason, then I'm not actually going to get something potentially that's better. So if I worry too much about every single step, I'm probably one, going to get disappointed when it doesn't work exactly like I planned. And two, how lame. I don't get surprised anymore. And surprises are super fun. Unexpected money and clients and kindness and fun is the best. Laughing is about being surprised, right? We laugh because something has surprised us and it's really funny and we can't help but delight in it. So why would I deny myself possibility of being delighted all the time?
yeah, I love that. I think another thing too is when you're so focused on this big goal, like you said, trying to control it, you do miss a lot of opportunities because it's like, okay, let's say I want to get $1 million and someone's like, hey, do you want $100? I'm like, what is that going to do? That's nothing. That's so insignificant. Like, ugh, get away from me. But if my goal along the path to getting $1 million is $1,000, that's 10% of that next goal.
Yeah.
It opens you up to actually receive incremental growth. Whereas the large focal point as your only thing can definitely detract from that. So I think we sacrifice this growth that we consider just people in general. I know I have. I'm like, that's not going to help. Like it could if I looked at it differently.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. Whoa.
I don't know what I don't know. And so
That's the thing about being an entrepreneur too, is like you don't know what you don't know. And so you spend a lot of time learning. And then you're like, do I need this thing I just learned or not? And usually you don't. And then you're like, oh, wait, now I have to learn this other thing, actually. It taught me I need to learn this other thing. Okay, great. Now I have to learn this other thing. And that's all you do in the beginning.
And I think a lot of people, and especially entrepreneurs, me specifically, learn by doing. And so a recent example is we had an outro on our shorts on social media. In the beginning, you're like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. Like it'll be a call to action. People can subscribe, whatever. But then just from doing that for the amount of time we've done it and realizing that actually not having it would make the videos potentially loop better. But there's no way we would have ever been like, yeah, no, don't have an outro because then the video could potentially loop. Like that's something we had to learn by doing. And that's a lot of it is literally just this trial and error.
Yeah.
Someone could have told me that and it wouldn't have mattered. I would have been like, oh, that's a good tip. But I don't know until I do it.
Yeah. It's probably part of your human design.
It's one of the most annoying parts of my personal development is that to this day, waiter drops the plate. Oh, that's hot. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, you're right. Like, just take my life would be so much easier if I just went, cool, let me just shortcut my need to find out for myself.
Yeah, I feel like that's ingrained in you.
100%.
Either your astrology or your human design.
A lot of it is I'm like, I know better. I always think I know better. And what's funny is a lot of times I wound up going through this whole process and then coming right back to where I would have been if I just listened to the person in the beginning.
Oh, maybe your ego's in the way then.
Though it's definitely somewhat ego for sure. I actively believe I'm smarter than most people though, which is definitely my ego.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Delulu is the
Definitely Delulu there. But no, I'm like, this idiot doesn't know. I don't actually say that. I'm like, I could do that better.
Joke's on you.
Yeah, it is most of the time on me. Because there have been so many times in my life where I've come back and been like, hey, remember that thing you said? Yeah, that was a good piece of advice.
Yeah,
and I'm
you're
now
right.
actively doing that. And they're like, oh, good. 3 months later. All right, so the paradox of big goals. Big goals feel inspiring, but they paralyze action. So when they're too far away, the brain sees a massive goal as a threat because the gap's too wide. And you confuse wanting it with working on it. So goal from James Clear, Atomic Habits, quote from James Clear. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems.
I've heard that. That's a great quote.
Yeah, so like having an amazing goal does nothing if you're not incrementally working on it. And if the goal is so big, you're paralyzed from action.
Oh, yeah. Now you're doing the opposite.
Doing the opposite. I've done that so many times. It's like, okay, that is where I want to end up. Okay, what is in my control right now, and how can I do that the best?
When you are just, again, worrying about now, it's so much easier. There is no weight on you like there would be if you're thinking about 5 years from now. There's a time and place for all of it.
Yeah.
It's like recognizing when is the time and the place to worry about it.
My big thing is always feeling like I have to hurry up and get there. Like I just feel like I'm always in such a rush to get to my goal. But what's really funny about that is then I get to the goal and I'm like, cool. Anyway, what's the next goal? How do I get there as quickly as possible?
Yeah, you say you don't want like Hermosi sometimes, but you're have the same mindset as him. That's I'm sure his mindset.
Yeah, and I love Hermosi, but Hermosi depresses me. Like seriously, I'm like, why can't I work that hard without losing my mind? But I will like lose my shit if I work that much. It makes me depressed.
But he may not have always worked like that, and maybe it's just he didn't. Once he found his niche, he was happy to work like that.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's once I have a clear path that is like, this works, this is my high rate of return activity, I can do that all day. It's finding the thing. Like I don't like doing a lot of it is like I don't like doing work that feels like it has an ineffective output. Input and whatever. The reward does not merit the amount of the effort.
Yeah.
And so that's where I struggle with working extra. But that's like all entrepreneurship is in the beginning. You're like, is this gonna work?
No one knows.
No, well, yeah. It's like and what if it's just a big fucking joke where they're like, oh yeah, just stick with it. Just stick with it.
No.
But there's actually like a really simple formula, and that's just to get people to like work on shit that doesn't work forever.
Maybe.
I do actually think that Hermosi's whole shtick is actually partially to dissuade people from going into business so he has less competition.
I'm sure.
Like I actually don't think he works as hard. Don't get me wrong, guy probably works a ton. But I think a lot of it is actually to keep people sidelined.
Yeah, or
Like,
he
you can't
did work
enter.
that intensely at some point.
At one
Maybe he
point.
doesn't do it now. I totally agree. Why wouldn't you?
Makes total sense.
That's like Gary Vanderchuk. Same thing. He goes, I'm giving all this information away because no one's going to use it.
I do think that that's actually accurate. Most people aren't going to do shit.
You could just copy Gary.
Yeah. Build a $50 million wine brand for your dad. And then,
Well, I just mean like his content, the way he talks, the way he motivates.
yeah, he's so unique, bro.
I read his book. I must have been, oh my God, his first book. This must be like 18 years ago. And he was underage, and he said, I just started learning about all the different items that go into wine, and I understood what each flavor profile was. That's how I could talk to wine before I was able to drink it.
Wow. So when you're saying when he built the
Crazy.
wine company, he was under 21.
Yeah, he was working for his dad who had the wine company.
Yeah.
He started working for him so he could learn to take over the business. It's just like a mindset that you wouldn't expect a child to have, is all I'm saying.
Good for
it's like a
him.
different level of person.
I think a lot of it too is having immigrant parents. You develop a much different mindset towards work because his parents are from Belarus.
That's right.
Yeah. I read his second book, Crushing It, but yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just a lazy American, but a lot of it is based on just working till your knuckles bleed, which I don't know. It's tough.
I'm not trying to work till my knuckles bleed.
Yeah. It's like I can crank out like 10, 12 hours, but I don't know, man. But it makes me feel bad. That's why I don't consume a lot of Hermosi content. Cause like, I know I could work more. Like I could physically.
Yeah, but the important thing we talked about the other day is fun. We have to have fun. If we're not having fun in our lives, what is all this for?
And then if I was Hermosi, I'd be like, fun doesn't matter, only the work matters. The goal
Yeah,
of
but
work is to stay in the
Hermosi,
game.
that
And
is
if
his
you,
fun.
yeah, I wonder.
His fun's different than my fun.
Right. Yeah, like I want to like watch TV and play video games.
Yeah, I want to go on vacation and I want to just hang out with my friends and not be on any devices. Maybe go to a concert or street festival.
I think, and kind of circling back to what you were saying earlier, it's like if I knew that everything I did had a massive rate of return, I would work way fucking more. Like if I was like, this work, it makes me feel important, or I get a lot from it because the rate of return is so high. That probably makes working hard so much.
Fuel.
It's like, cool, this, and that's the, what is it like when you mow the lawn and you're like, that looks really nice. Like you get to feel that when you have, that's the biggest thing that I think I miss from corporate America, and I don't miss much, is it's like maybe one of the top 5 is that knowing what the high rate of return levers were. Because then you could just be like, cool, I need to do this. Let me just work a ton of this thing because I know this activity works.
There's this thought that we create our lives in this dimension, in this realm, in this earthly place we're in. Our higher selves create everything down to a T down here for us with our personality, who we are as a person, and all the little milestones. And we are creating puzzles for ourselves. So we know this, we know the answer. We can find the answers and get to the solution because we've created it for ourselves and we already know that this is a possibility for the future. So I look at it from this lens. I love a puzzle. I love being clever. Anytime I can be smart or clever, especially adding a little wit to it, I love it, which means that the lifetime that I've created here probably is fitting within those same parameters. And so I need to allow myself to be smart and clever and figure out the puzzle so that I can, go to the next level, to your video game analogy.
I like that.
So your higher Joe self created, again, something equal here. So in these moments when you're identifying areas where you're mentioning lack or you're not showing up the way that you want to show up or you're not approaching things differently, if Joe was creating a world for you, if higher self Joe was creating this world for you, wouldn't he say, okay, he's struggling in these 5 areas, so I'm going to make sure he has to work at them so he can go to the next level. Like, gamify your life. Think about it as how yourself set this up for yourself so you could grow. Like, we don't tell children to not walk. We're like, get up. We want you to crawl. We want you to move. We want you to grow. We want you to like go experience. And that's the same thing our higher self is doing for us. We want you to experience all of this so you can enjoy it. So like, go play, go have fun, go figure it out.
Yeah, if my child didn't walk, I would like get rid of them, but I know what you're saying. I think, how long do you give a child before you tell them that you just give up on them?
Never.
No, that's true. I know that saying though. I remember hearing that reference. I like that a lot though. I like looking at it like a puzzle. Like you do need all the pieces. Even if you had the $1 million piece, $1 million is like nothing nowadays. $10 million piece, you still would need all the other pieces to actually like complete the puzzle.
Yeah, if someone gave us $10 million tomorrow, we wouldn't do our best with it. We would flail and we'd have to figure it out and it'd be really hard.
It'd be sweet though. Like
Maybe.
I would take that challenge on right now if anyone hears this and wants to challenge me.
Yeah, or would we get lazy? We would not have drive.
I would definitely get lazy for a little
community. Bit. Yeah, so your higher self isn't going to give that to you for the exact reason.
Because I would get lazy?
Until you prove like you're not going to get lazy no matter what comes in.
Could I be lazy for a little bit?
You can have moments of laziness.
Okay, but I couldn't just be a turd.
No, I mean, you can if you don't want the success.
Well, but if I had $10 million, then I would technically be successful.
Oh, sure, but I don't think this is the way to call it in. But I could be wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, and I know because even when I had like, I've had moments in my life where I was extremely successful financially. Not that I'm like poor now, but I had higher peaks before. And when I had nothing to do, I was like out of my mind. So like I like having problems to solve, which is really funny because I look back on the problems I look back on my success and there's not a moment where I think about, oh, remember that one day when I was like really stressed out, and then remember that one day. I'm just like, I did this and then this and then this success happened. And that's all I remember. So it's a funny because my process is such a fucking roller coaster in my brain. I know I'm going to get to the goal, but that still doesn't like let off the nutbag juice in my mind, which is interesting. Like I know I'm going to get there. I'm going to look back and giggle and be like, why did I make that so difficult? But I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Next point. Face. There we go. Why micro focus builds macro results. Your life's a chain, and the only thing that matters is the next link. So one clear action, repeated compounds. Micro focus reduces overwhelm and keeps dopamine flowing from progress. That was like my big thing is like, this progress doesn't even matter because this is the goal, but it's like the goal is 10% of the big goal. Oh, cool. I'm almost at that goal. So Confucius says, the man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. And I actually have a study here. So implementation intentions. So people who set those specific when, where, now actions, actually 2 to 3 times more likely to follow through on their goals. And that's from the American Psychological Association, or American Psychological Ass.
Aw.
Yeah.
It's true. I think it's totally true.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we already kind of hit on it. No?
Yeah, that one was kind of redundant because we're like hitting all these points.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. The science of progress momentum. So the brain actually releases dopamine not from rewards, but from forward motion. And I feel this all the time. Like, oh, progress feels amazing, right?
Really?
Yeah. So forward motion, which in its way is kind of a reward in itself. It's like recently our YouTube shorts started taking off. Like, it's not the reward, but like that progress it feels good, man.
Oh, is that why when people become super wealthy or really successful, it's not as good because now that's done?
It's like the stagnation.
They're not chasing after anything anymore. And so, yeah, so now they've hit this pinnacle and they're like, all right, well, now what? There's nothing. This is all just easy for me now.
I feel like the progress is probably even more addicting than the actual reward itself.
Yeah, because everybody that's super famous, they always go back to a time when they were struggling. I listen to so many comedians, and in their podcasts, the ones that are a bit more successful, like those days where they're sleeping in their cars, going from shows to shows, those sound like the glory days for them.
What is that? I hate that.
It's exactly what you just said, that you aren't chasing anything. It's the progress, not the perfection. They've already perfected it and there's no progress. So if the progress is what gives you you're doing great dopamine hit and you take progress away and you're only left with perfect, like now what?
God, it's like, that's insane how it's so biochemical.
Okay. And that just that should be an unlocker for you. You want to know why things aren't coming in and you're thinking about like what's happening in my life. Why is it working like this? This is about progress so that you can actually feel the progress, get excited by it.
Yeah, that actually
You
solidifies
can't fast forward
this.
through this.
Yeah. I'd like to fast forward like that movie Click, but then like he fast forwards and like his family hates him and he's like fat.
Yes,
So I
but if
wouldn't like
there's no
that.
progress, you're just perfection, then you do what?
Well, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I didn't realize that was actually at the neurochemical level. That actually makes a lot of sense, but that makes me feel better about the reframe that I did because it is hard to feel that hit when the goal is so big. Because then nothing feels like progress.
Yeah.
Like it literally would have to be like the biggest insane progress to actually make a ripple in that ocean, whereas now I'm rippling in a pond.
Yeah, and I think when
That was me
I
skipping
quit
a stone.
Actually, that was quite accurate. I knew exactly what the movement was.
Okay.
If this was charades, I would have stone skipping.
Boom. Okay. So when you were saying, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Corporate?
Oh, when I quit my corporate job, I knew that quitting, I was going to have minimal validation. And I was like, okay. I had a feeling I wasn't going to get anything that I was looking for. And it was like this aha moment that is it real? nothing's real. That none of this is real. Nothing here is real. Nothing.
I wish mine was very not thought out. Not much of a planner. I feel like you know that about me now. And so I could have exited in a way that was much more smooth. But yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. I'm glad that you've been able to wire yourself that way. But yeah, the feeling of minimal progress because I was looking at too big of a goal, and then the lack of validation, which I've gotten way better with. So I actually now find myself internally validating more. I did some content the other day and I was like, that's really good. And it performed average. But I was happy with it. I was like, dang, good job, man.
Oh, I like that.
But it was probably because I felt like I'd progressed my skills.
Yeah.
Boom. Oh, that's awesome. That makes me feel good.
God, we're unpacking so much today.
Here's a quote. Progress equals happiness. Tony Robbins.
That guy.
That guy. Y'all know him. Y'all love him. Definitely dyes his hair. Let's talk about that.
I don't even remember what his hair looks like. I just see his face. He has a very big face.
He's like 6'10". He actually had a...
Is that why his voice is so deep too, you think? Because he's such a large person?
I think that also. And then also because he literally does all these seminars where he just yells really, has to talk really loud.
Yeah, but
that's why his voice is kind of hoarse now.
Seems lower.
Probably because he's massive. There's a more reverberation.
Yeah.
Larger vocal cords.
No, really.
Although they're probably... I mean, Shaq's got a really low voice.
Anytime I've met someone that's very large, they've had a low voice.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything I say would be absolute guess science, but it's probably the largeness of the cavity or the bigness of the vocal cord. Or both.
Or neither.
Yeah, or neither. It's something weird. Like vocal cords aren't actually real. Okay, here's a study. Employees who track progress daily were 33% more productive and had higher satisfaction. And that's from Harvard's Business Review. Yeah. Daily?
Tracked?
Daily.
Tracking's hard.
I like tracking. I usually track weekly, but I actually think daily would be better because it's real easy to get lazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is. You're forcing people to really either lie about what they're doing or to do what they need to do.
See, I was never a big KPI manager. I was never one of those people who wanted my leaders or when I was a manager that managed just producers to be like, where are your 100 calls? I was like, show me your performance. Awesome. I don't care what you did. If it hits, like, well, great job. I do care. I want to understand so I can teach the rest of the team.
Yeah.
But I don't care if you made one phone call and you got those results. Someone's doing poorly. That's called forensic KPIs, where you go, okay, well, how are you spending your time? And so that's when it matters. But day to day, I think if someone's getting the result that's needed, I don't know. I could see though with what I'm doing or maybe what we're doing, it wouldn't be terrible to have some sort of daily metric. I think for myself, but I'm going down a rabbit hole. It's not important. All right. So detached from the outcome. We talked about that, right? Detached from the outcome, marry the process. So William Zenzer, don't be a writer. Be someone who writes.
What?
Yeah, that's his quote.
Tell me more.
Don't be a writer. Be someone who writes.
Oh.
I'm a writer. I'm a writer.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Be about it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Yeah, dude. I love that.
Thank you.
I'm a writer. What have you written? Well, just
of
really good
groceries.
idea. I don't know why I use that voice.
I don't know. Sure.
I'm a
Stern
writer.
voice.
I think most writers are probably more like, I'm a writer.
They don't sing song their
Yeah.
title.
They're not like questionably gay. They're just like a guy.
Oh, I didn't realize he was gay.
He was gay. That character was gay.
Okay.
Yeah. The writer.
Well, I love the gays.
Yeah.
Love a writer. But I agree. Don't talk about it, be about it. Because at some point, like, have you ever met people and they're like, I'm a really nice guy. I'm a really nice guy. I'm a really nice guy. I'm like, why are you telling me so much?
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that tells me that they're like, I'm a really nice person. I'm just like a really nice person. I don't believe that. I don't think Mother Teresa was going around saying, I'm a really nice person. I don't think I've ever said, I'm a really nice person. You wouldn't say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you have
It's
an
like-
intrinsically good quality, I think most people don't even notice it. Like when that is your actual personality, you're not like, I'm nice. You're just nice.
Yes, that's exactly it. So if you want to be it, you got to start embodying it.
It's crazy.
You want to be a writer, shut the fuck up and start writing.
Yeah, get the pen out or the typewriter.
I learned on a typewriter.
It is really? Why?
Because I basically grew up in the 1950s.
Oh, your family had typewriters?
We had a typewriter. I was an only child with my parents not up on technology.
Yeah.
I basically missed the 80s.
Did you write like papers on a typewriter?
Yeah. Tink, 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 tink. Why do you think I'm making the noise? You had to push each key. Tink, tink. There was like a pressure you had to push. And then
it would go, and it would hit the thing.
Yeah, and then if
very
you did too many
satisfying.
letters, let's say you did an extra letter, you spelled it wrong, you either had to start over or there'd be this white out stuff.
Yeah.
No, but it was this strip you had to put in front of the typewriter, and then you'd line it up, and then you'd press the key.
And go da-da-da-da-da-da-da over it.
And it would stamp that letter over the black letter. It'd stamp the white over the black. It was very time consuming. I saved a paper from my childhood because I was like, I need to remember that I used a typewriter on this thing. I saved it intentionally.
I've never typed on a typewriter that
It's
I can
annoying.
think of, but I have I have a couple mechanical keyboards, and something about the feeling of certain keyboards, like I use.
Oh, yeah.
I have it on I have a PC, but I like my Mac laptop just right over there is a way better, newer computer. But because that other computer has that fun keyboard,
click, click, click.
yeah, I'm like da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, yeah.
It is fun.
It's
Like a soft click.
It's the sound and it's the feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, yes. But I think the auditory really adds a nice pizzazz. All right, this is the last one. The chain link strategy, parenthesis, your new focus loop. Every day ask, what's the next link in the chain? So you have daily things you have to do. They're your daily non-negotiable tasks that are going to build towards your goal. Weekly reflection. Okay. What tasks actually helped? Did I do the tasks? What can I focus on? What can I get rid of? And then one micro goal per domain. So it's health, money, brand, project, career, whatever, relationship. So then create your big goal and then go 10 steps behind. All right, what's 1/10 of that goal? And now what are the habits that you need for that 10% piece?
On Monday afternoons, Joe and I have our Monday Zoom call, and we have journal prompts, and it sounds just like the journal prompts. I wonder if we pulled this from the same thing. Journal prompts are, what did you do this week? What worked? What didn't work? Where are you spending your time? Where do you need help with? Where did you fall behind? And then you like write a little bit about the week or something. But there were these little buckets that you were talking about. That was the second part of the journal prompts that I didn't include.
Oh.
It's so funny. So what I liked about this, though, is because it is very much in the let's just keep it kind of small phase. You're not going too large, but maybe we need to expand our journal prompts to go larger, but not too large.
Look at things categorically.
Yeah, we could even do that.
Yeah, I like that idea. Or were you saying go larger, but not too large?
Because we don't want to, again, not get dazzled by the universe and give it a chance to surprise us.
I like that. And so here's another James Clear quote. He's like the master of habits. Success is the product of daily habits. It's not a once-in-a-lifetime transformation. So everything we see that's like, wow, that person came out of nowhere. It's like they really didn't. They've been doing a thing for X amount of time, and it finally like poked through the surface. The blade of grass has been growing for however long, and then now it finally came through the dirt. But that's habits. That's not like they just went, I'm here, and everyone was like, boom, your goal. And the timetable that by the way makes me insane. By the way, the lack of the timetable. I'm like, when? Just tell me when. Probably annoy me even more though.
Oh yeah, actually, the more you ask, probably the more you're pushing it off.
Yeah, you mean the universe? Mm-hmm. I don't really ask anymore. I just know that I don't know, and that annoys me.
Okay.
Yeah, like
yeah, desensitized to that.
I don't like not. It's the. I know it's gonna happen, but like, when is it gonna happen? It's like if I just knew if I could just do this. What if I just did this one thing? Just give me one.
Oh, negotiating?
Yeah, like just tell me if I just do this one thing, it'll come faster, and then I'll do that. I'll just do that thing then.
Okay.
Yeah.
God's like, okay, double it.
What's the story about I've told this story. The best karate master, I'm paraphrasing aggressively. Student comes and he's like, how long will it take me to become master? 10 years. All right, well, I'll work twice as hard and I'll blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, how long will it take then? He's like, 20 years.
Yeah.
It's like, It's ready when it's ready, man. Or
Like
maybe
the microwave.
like a microwave.
You just gotta let it ding.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like walk away from it.
I
Let
guess
it, let
you
it tell you when
can't
to come back.
speed up a microwave. I mean, you could argue that you could increase the whatever, but if it's on high already, you got to put 2 minutes. You can't
Yeah, 2 minutes.
do it faster.
Sometimes you gotta add an extra 30 seconds.
And when you hit the one button, that automatically does 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I love that button.
Actually, I exclusively just use that
You
one.
just go beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I used to have a microwave that didn't have any actual buttons. It had 2 buttons. It had one that was 30 seconds. No, it had a 30-second button, a minute button, and a 5-minute button. And you would just go like boop or like hit the.
Was it one of the first microwaves ever?
It was like this microwave made for college kids, but I had it for like 10 years. It was a Samsung. It was blue and silver, but it only had 3 buttons on it.
That's so
I
funny.
didn't think it had a clock on it.
They're like, we don't have room for that.
No,
On the
they're like, you get 3
computer.
buttons, bro.
Figure it out.
And then my current microwave is a hand-me-down from my aunt and uncle. It's like a really nice one. And they never took the film off the front of the
That's
microwave.
so satisfying.
So when I got it, I was like, oh, it's like brand new. I took it off.
That's exciting. I love pulling the film off.
Yeah, I always do it now. I used to be one of those weirdos who'd leave it on forever.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
That's like leaving plastic on the furniture?
I wouldn't leave it on furniture, but like electronics, like around the edges. It's like this weird thing. You're like, I don't want to take it. It's like, I take it off immediately. Like, get out of there.
Yeah, like those little stickers you can get for your watch so you don't scratch them.
Yeah, do you have that?
No.
Or like a screen protector on your phone?
Oh, I got that.
Oh,
I'd
I
be
don't have
dropping
that.
it.
Bro, that's Gorilla Glass.
Yeah, until you break it.
Have you broken a screen before?
Oh, JK, I don't have one on this phone. On my other phone. Yes.
Oh, really?
You haven't?
I did once, but it was totally my fault and I didn't have it in a case. So like, I always make
You
sure I
raw
get it.
dogged it?
It was like my first iPhone and I was basically hoping it broke so I get a new one.
Oh, like this is broken. This little camera.
Oh, no. Here's a bonus stat. 92% of people fail their New Year's resolutions, largely due to vague outcomes with no daily structure. And that's from the University of Scranton, which, because of The Office, we know is obviously an exceptional institution. You think The Office drove up their enrollment numbers?
I didn't really watch that show.
But you know it was in Scranton, PA.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so it takes place in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which I think is a real town. But I would assume that people would go to that college. Like it would put more people, it would put it on more people's radar. Yeah, I was going to say roadmap. It's on my roadmap. The writer's roadmap. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Opening the floor.
Oh, of course they're failing their New Year's resolutions. Okay, one, you're asking people to do something in the middle of winter. Okay, if we like that's hibernation time. You're a bear. You're supposed to be in your cave. You're like,
I've never thought about that.
okay, no, people don't take action in the middle of winter. When do they take action? Spring, like the old witchy calendars used to be. New Year's is always in spring when we're having baby bunnies and flowers are blooming and everything is getting energized for the next phase of life. That's when we should be making resolutions.
They should
Not
have
January.
a New Year's resolution. They should have a New Year's resolution day that's in spring. Like we should, because I've never thought about it from that angle. I actively believe that the reason why people get depressed in the winter and don't want to do anything, it's not because it's cold. It's because your internal mammalian brain is going, yeah, it's time to hibernate, bro. Like stay inside and get a blanket and be cozy. But we still have to live our normal human life, which is not in line with how our mammalian brains are operating anymore. But yeah, that makes total sense. Like I don't do shit in the winter. I barely get by winter. Like I still stay in shape. I go to the gym, but my habits change aggressively. I actually have a gym that's by my house that kind of sucks, but it's the gym I go to when it's really cold. Because
That's so
I'm like,
funny.
I need to work out, but I'm not going to drive like whatever the other distance. And the other gym's like 10 minutes. This gym's
That's so
literally
funny.
across the street.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing is when you have a resolution, it puts a lot of pressure on you to show up just because of a date. If you want to make change, it should be change that you want to make because you want to make it. You innately feel ready to make it. So people probably make change on a day that they feel like inspired to make the change, as opposed to a day they're told to make the change. I can see why one would stick to the goal and the other one wouldn't.
Yeah, okay, I want to lose 40 pounds. Well, it's usually like I want to lose weight. So then it's like, okay, well, how much? Okay, 40. Okay, well, how are you going to get there? So then the goal actually probably should be I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week. So it's a habit that leads to the goal, right? And so I think that's where people fall short is, and that's something that I've been doing incorrectly lately. And then had to reframe was, okay, well, I can set a goal, and then how do I get to that goal? That's 10% of my goal. And so what I encourage our listeners to do is figure out if you do have a really big goal, I think you should. And if like you don't have a big goal, make your goal bigger, like dream bigger, but then break that into chunks. It's easier to take bite-sized chunks. And so if you need to break it into 100 chunks for it to be palatable, I heard something the other day and it was awesome. If starting feels overwhelming, it's because you didn't make the first step small enough.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
I was like, oh my God, yes.
That's really good.
Like, okay, cool. I thought I broke it into 10 chunks. Well, maybe that first chunk needs to be 10 chunks now.
Yeah, right. That's really good. You're like, we're done now.
Yeah.
My grandma, when she was ready to leave, she would just like get up. And you'd be like, oh, I guess we're going.
Would she say goodbye?
Yeah, but like she would just noticeably let everyone know she was done.
Oh, okay.
And then
Was it in the middle of a conversation sometimes?
yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I admire that.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of did it. It was really funny.
So brief story. I dated this girl. Her name was Laura. And I think normal people like linger to say goodbye. All right, well, hey, I hope you have a great day and I'll see you.
I hate lingering.
And she would be like, all right, cool, bye. And like, I was like, what the? And so I try to do that now to be like, all right, cool, conversation over, bye.
I have a couple people in my life and they will stay forever unless I kick them out.
In terms of the
lingering. Oh, in person. They're in person.
Oh, wow.
But I'm bye. We're done.
Yeah, I think that's very effective. It's like, okay, well, we've gotten better at that now that we're like, when we first started working together, we hadn't had, like when you work with someone as a business partner, you build like a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, intimate's the wrong word. It's like you get like more comfortable being open and honest. Yeah. So
it's not a romantic relationship. It's a business relationship, but it's a relationship. They're all relationships.
Yeah. You become less concerned with tiptoeing around and being polite. Like,
oh yeah, we're comfortable.
Once you know, like what's acceptable and you don't have to worry about hurting the other person's feelings. And so, yeah, now we like get off our calls, but in the beginning, some of those Zoom calls would fucking linger at the end. Now it's like, all right, I guess we're done. Bye.
Yeah. Now like, okay, bye.
Yeah. It's like, okay, this has gone on long enough. If we get everything, okay, bye.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Same. Great. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment, share it with someone if you got value out of this. And we're really happy and grateful that you're watching. Have an amazing day.
Oh, my God. Thank you for being here. Bye.